Hello, this is just a quick bit of a video. I am testing these. So I'm testing samples here from Fleur de Piel, a Barcelona based brand, and we've got a whole load of samples in here that I ordered and they've just arrived today, and I am completely perfume free, just out of the shower. So I'm off to the post office and also a game of table tennis, which is fun. And so I thought that instead of putting on a perfume from my collection, I would just go ahead straight away and get sampling. So the first one is called Placa, P-L-A-C-A. And I think all of these perfumes are sort of inspired by Barcelona. It's called the Barcelona sample set. I don't know much about any of these except Placa. Jonathan on Instagram has written some really nice reviews about this. I like the sound of it. It's, I believe, a cologne style scent, so I'm expecting it to be quite citrusy and fresh and quite natural smelling. That's what I'm hoping for, and this was the one out of the Barcelona set that I was most intrigued by. So we're just going to spray it straight onto my skin, if I can get it to spray. Here we go, it's coming out now. Quite a generous amount because I know that it is citrusy. I am avoiding breathing in, so I can't smell it yet, but I'm gonna go blue if I don't breathe in. So breathing in, and yeah, instantly in the air. This is a very natural cologne style scent as expected. Oh, there's beeswax in here. I remember that because it has similar notes to one from Nicolai, Parfum de Nicolai. She has a really beautiful beeswax and neroli scent. I've forgotten the name of it, and I always remember kind of wanting to buy it and never really getting round to it, and then I just forgot about it. And this does remind me of that. So this is, something stuck to my face. This is definitely a neroli. I get neroli. Neroli sometimes to me smells almost like stinging nettles. And it sounds crazy, but I've always found that, especially when smelling the pure oil rather than it combined in a fragrance. When you smell the natural oil on its own, I find it sort of quite bitter and green, and it always does remind me of stinging nettles, and I do get that from this. I feel like there might be some iris in here. This is really beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of the opening of Papillon's Hera as well, which is iris and white florals. There's orange blossom and jasmine and other beautiful white florals. This does feel, oh my God, I really like it. Okay, what do I like about it? I don't know if it's iris, but it feels like this iris, which I love, mixing in with white florals and the citrus notes, the neroli, probably other citruses. It's definitely quite fresh. Yeah, at the moment, the closest fragrance I can liken it to is Hera from Papillon, one of my all-time favourite perfumes, if not my favourite perfume in the whole world. So for me to compare it to that is, it's a massive thumbs up at the moment based on these top notes. I really just want to wear this as my main scent. See if I can tell you anything more about this. I definitely feel a mixture of citruses. I think lemon, bergamot, maybe orange. Could just be bergamot because bergamot does sometimes give facets of lemon and orange. I feel like white florals, not just the neroli, which is of course orange blossom, just extracted in a different way to orange blossom. I feel like there's more, like there is orange blossom as well as neroli. And something powdery, something that does give me iris feelings. It feels like iris, something sort of powdery and almost concrete dust like, which I do get from iris sometimes. Yeah, it's like a dusty but clean street in the sun. A warm day, but there was some rain earlier, so that sort of like petrichor kind of note, but not like ISOE Super can sometimes give a slightly petrichor effect. It doesn't feel like that exactly. It feels more like iris. It feels like dusty, beautiful concrete, sparkling in the sunshine somehow. And you know, white florals and orange and lemon groves. This has captured my heart. Now we are talking about the top notes, and things that really start off this good can often kind of like fall down quite quickly in my experience. But so far this is really, really beautiful. At the moment, if I had to make a decision, that's full bottle worthy for me. If there was one bottle left in the world and I had to make a decision, will you buy it? Absolutely, I'm buying it. But we shall see. We'll see how it develops. Definitely does have a green aspect to it. So if you're not a fan of anything a little bit green, which I'm not always a fan of greenery, but this is the greenery that comes from I feel like it comes from neroli. It might be petitgrain as well. Petitgrain is the leaves and twigs of the orange tree. So that would make sense. It would fit with this vision that I'm getting of orange and lemon groves and blooming white flowers on, you know, in the Mediterranean. Absolute love for that so far. So we're going to try one more. I think we'll stick. Initially I was going to try one of the others, so I've got a really interesting one here, which is a blackberry musk. It's supposed to be nostalgic for the 90s. So it does sound fabulous, but I feel like it's not going to fit with what I have here. So I'm going to try one of the others. I'm going to try one called Rambler, which I know nothing about. I probably looked the notes up at some point, but I am clueless. All I know is that Placa was really the only one that was really calling my name out of the Barcelona set, but let's just try it. So Rambler is going to go on here. I think Rambler is a place in Barcelona, or maybe a road. You can correct me in the comments because I'm probably wrong. Just letting that dry off. I went to look at the time, but it's not on my wrist. This smells amazing in the air. It smells like a violet scent. I was not expecting this at all. I thought maybe it would be another cologne, like really fresh, natural citrus type fragrance, but in a slightly different direction, perhaps being in the same set as the Placa. However, this smells like a fruity, musky, powdery violet. And almost a bit suede-like. So it's not completely pretty. It's slightly counteracted by something that's a little suede-like and therefore almost animalic. Not really animalic, but almost animalic. Maybe suede, mushroom. Again, that makes me think it could be an iris in here. Very powdery. It's reminding me of something I can't put my finger on right now. Something that I liked. It's I think this is an iris scented fragrance at the moment, based on the top notes here. I believe I'm smelling iris and all the facets of iris. So the powder, the suede, the mushroom sort of earthiness, the violet. I don't know if there's added ionones to make it more violet-y, or if it's just that the iris itself is violet-y, which can definitely happen. Here, I don't think there's added violet, but I get quite a strong violet from the iris, I believe. Definitely get a fruity tone to it, not citrus fruity, but berries. What berries do I think they are? Not cherry. Raspberry, maybe? It's like an adult version of Guerlain French Kiss. That's really sweet. This doesn't have as much sweetness, or I don't think there's anything almondy here. It's like the grown-up version, the less sweet, the more austere version of French Kiss. Also reminds me a little bit of Maison Violet's Pourpre d'Automne. but that was kind of cherry, to me that was cherry bakewell. There was no cherry note. It was an almond violet fragrance. Yeah, this is deeper and almost like gothic in nature, but not incensey and dark in that respect, just like a fug, yeah, like a very thick mist, a grey mist. This fragrance could be called grey mist. It's really nice. I mean, note wise, what I'm getting from it, it sounds really girly and pretty, but it has this grey thick cloud about it, which just takes away too much of the shine, too much of the prettiness. I don't know anything about Rambler, what that is in Barcelona, what the inspiration might be, but this is really nice. Going back to Plaka now, this has definitely changed. It's maybe not so much that iris note anymore. It's going in a more green direction, I feel like. The green bitterness from the neroli, maybe some petitgrain. It's fresh, but it definitely has something underneath it. So it's not just clear, pure, crystalline citrus. It sits on something that is giving it a powderiness and a density without having too much character to take over those beautiful sort of citrusy notes. I really like this. I loved the opening. I'd say for me the opening was 10 out of 10, and now it's maybe just dropped down a notch and a half, but I still really like it. Just a quick update, it's only been a few minutes, so this isn't, you know, any amount of time that's really passed, but I'm getting more things from this. I thought I'd quickly mention it. I feel like I'm getting heliotrope quite strongly. So I feel like I'm getting almond and cherry nuances from it now, which I get from heliotrope, and also a leather. So it felt like suede, and now it feels like that suede is slowly tuning itself into a buttery soft leather. Nothing really smoky. I don't feel like I'm getting birch tar, which can be used to create leather note, but just like a really buttery soft leather. So almost gourmand now because of this heliotrope type smell that is cherryish, almondish, but still with the violet and the fruitiness, and then musky and powdery as well. Right, further update then on Plaka. We are now about 4.5 to 5 hours into the wear. I did end up putting it up here as well, just lightly. And I have been off and played table tennis, and I won all but one game, so I'm very happy with myself. And I have had some dinner and, you know, done stuff, so I'm back. And what I noticed with Plaka was it went slightly soapy. It was like a citrusy, soapy musk with a little bit of sweetness mixing in. There is beeswax in here, so that might be the source of the sweetness. It doesn't smell like vanilla, but it definitely feels like there is something in there. Whether it's a resin or something, just adding a little bit of sweetness. I would say that Perfumes is okay. It's the kind of fragrance that I would wear when I'm looking for that soapy, musky, clean feeling. And I do feel like there is space in my collection for a fragrance that does go a little bit on the soapy side. I've kind of been feeling like that's one thing that's missing, and I do quite enjoy that from time to time. Whilst I really like the dry down, it just isn't the same as that amazing opening. But then if I had a bottle, I could just respray it, and that's what I would do actually. And the prices aren't bad on these at all. I'm not sure what they are. I'll put that on the screen. The prices aren't bad, and I think all I would do is just respray it every hour to just get another hit of that amazing first sort of 10 minutes or so where everything is just stupendous. I mean, it literally smells like the nicest, most natural, special, amazing ingredients in the world. I don't get any sense of any of those harsh, sharp, scratchy, woody, dry, amber aroma chemical type things. There's no sense of that whatsoever. So I do think it's a really, really good perfume. It's not a skin scent, but I don't think it's going to be projecting that much at this point. So yeah, I would definitely say that for me, I would be respraying it at least after sort of 4.5 to 5 hours. But for quite a clean, fresh fragrance, I think that is really good. Now the Rambler one, musky, fluffy, cloud-like violet on my skin now. It never really went that leathery in the end. I felt like it was going to go and this leather note was going to take over, but that didn't happen. As I say, it started out sort of like a fluffy suede-like feeling, and then it started to feel like it was going into a leathery direction, but then the leather really never took full hold. It was just there in the background. It did feel like quite, I don't know if there's heliotrope, I don't know the notes at all in especially this one, the Rambler one. I don't know what the notes are at all. So when I say the violet, the heliotrope, I don't know that's what's really there, but that's what I'm smelling. And it did go into a heliotrope cherry direction in the end. So when I was sniffing it, when I was playing table tennis and doing my bits and pieces, it felt like it got quite a strong amount of heliotrope in it. And it's that heliotrope that does go a little bit cherry-like, not like Tom Ford Lost Cherry, so not like a thick, rich and syrupy cherry, but a lighter cherry that comes more from just being more of an almondy note, because cherry and almond are kind of interchangeable. So yeah, it did feel like it went into heliotrope direction just a bit much for me. I do think it's a really interesting perfume, lots of different facets, lots has gone on my skin, but all very cohesive, nothing weird, just a journey of a fragrance from being sort of like this thick grey mist that was really quite interesting to almost gourmand territory, and now just this light, sweet muskiness that's slightly violety still. But at this point, I would also feel like I'd need to respray because it's quite light, which I think is absolutely fine for fragrances that just smell so much more natural than you know, the majority of fragrances being created today. So we're going to smell the other two in the Barcelona line. There's so much to say about these perfumes. When you come across perfumes that are really properly made with care and attention, they deserve time to really get to know, and that's what I want to do here. So we're going to try this one here called Mort Juge. So we're going to go on top of the hand now with more touhe, or words. It's a word. What's this? Oh my gosh. Okay, this is rich. I can tell you instantly it's not my cup of tea. It's kind of boozy, I think. Oh wow, it's a lot. Not in a, like, it's not in a bad way, but it's quite a bold. It's quite a bold thing, this. I don't know if it's tobacco I'm smelling. I'm smelling a lot. I'm smelling something a little bit smoky. I mean, it's really, really interesting. There's nothing I can compare this to. I don't know, I feel like I'm smelling hay, tobacco, a bottle of Courvoisier has maybe just spilt. Vetiver, sort of grassy and rooty at the same time. There's definitely some sweetness going on in here. So much. There's so much going on in here. I have a feeling it needs to settle. It's a little bit wild at the moment. There's so many things that I'm smelling. At the moment, it doesn't smell like they are all playing together nicely. So I think this is one of those that needs a few moments just for everything to settle. So we're going to spray the other one then, which is called Cittadella, and I think that means cathedral. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Based on the name, and if I'm correct that it is a cathedral, I am expecting a churchy incense and maybe something sort of like dry and dusty and maybe earthy. But we could be wrong. When I say we, I mean me. So let's go for it. This one on my other hand is really strong. It's kind of like taking over everything. Can't get it out. Here we go, a little bit coming out now. Right, I think there's enough on there. Yeah, that's not what that's not what I was expecting. It's a creamy, clean, a bit like a body lotion smell. So like that, you know, the creaminess. So I'm not talking about the smell of cream in that it's lactonic. I don't mean that, but a body cream that's very smooth and clean. Makeup smells as well. I don't know if there's lipstick. I don't know if there's violet, rose maybe. So it's kind of like a pretty makeup bag type smell, but also body lotion. But it is not a typical fragrance in that category. It's a bit different. Like, I'm trying to describe it. But what I'm trying to say is it's like those kind of makeup bag / body cream, cosmetic-y feeling perfumes, but it's not as delicate and pretty and girly as that. It's something I recognise. It's actually kind of a bold scent. I don't know if there's a bit of sandalwood in here. That wouldn't surprise me, giving it a little bit of a tanginess. You know when sandalwood can be tangy? Yeah, I'm sticking with the sandalwood thing. Yeah, it could even be the source of the creaminess. I do feel like I'm getting a touch of woods, a touch of resin, just all mixing together. Something smells yellow, but I don't know what I mean by that right now. I do get a little bit of dusty oldness, you know, it could be an old library or something like that, something sort of dusty and old, but something that's more, it's making me think of products that you use on your skin, skincare. Yeah, it might be reminding me of when I was really little. I was given this child's toy, but it was real cosmetics. There was like a skin toner, little miniature bottles and lotions and potions, and there was this skin toner that I was obsessed with, because I had, obviously as a child, all you do is you do whatever your parents tell you in terms of washing yourself, you know, so I never cleansed my skin or anything, but I got the skin toner, put it on the cotton pad as you were supposed to, and scrubbed my skin and was shocked at how dirty my skin was. And I was just obsessed with the way this skin toner smelled, plus it felt so special. That was my first foray as a very, very small child into skincare, and it felt quite magical. And this skin lotion, I just was crazy about it, and I feel like I'm smelling that in here. Yeah, I'm honestly clueless about what the actual real notes will be in this, because I can't really get past that memory, that skin lotion feel. But I'd say it's quite a bold scent. Not as bold as this one, the Morte. Oh wow, that's taken a very unusual turn. It's very fruity now. So yeah, the Morte Ahuna, the one that begins with Morte, is fruity, almost syrupy fruity, but not exactly like sugar's been added, but just that the fruits have been kind of stewed maybe and got more rich. If I was to say what fruits they were, more like peach, guava, something a little bit on the acidic side. It's tropical as well, maybe like passion fruit. It could be a passion fruit, guava, peach combination. There's all kind of like syrupy. Definitely something kind of weird underneath. Not bad, but if you just think about the fruits, it sounds very nice. But there's something in there that's contrasting and making it not just a purely nice fragrance. It's definitely a bit weird. I would say it is on the acidic side. Probably getting some orange or maybe some other citrus. There's definitely a lift in here, a little bit of freshness. But then some savoury things sitting underneath it all. So it's almost a little baffling because, you know, usually you don't mix your sweet and savoury, not that much. I mean, you might have sweet and salty popcorn, salted caramel. That's all kind of like normal to us. But fruit on something more savoury, it's kind of weird. It's like I don't understand. It's a bit of a mind blown moment. It's kind of a musky thing as well. Musky and a little bit on the dusty side. Very vibrant, very lively, fruity accord. Sitting on something that I can't quite grasp how to describe this savoury smell underneath. And I'd say the fruit is the stronger of the two smells. The savoury smell underneath could be a combination of maybe a touch of patchouli or vetiver, but it could almost be like a little bit of seaweed or something, you know, there's something just a touch funky about it. It's really, really, really unusual. I've never smelled anything like it. It's probably not one that I would say is my personal taste, but I can see people really enjoying it. I think the way it is at the moment is, it would be described by most people as quite fruity, but just a bit unusual, a bit different. So Cittadella, it's got something in it that's really familiar. It's not really, I don't know how to really describe this. Could be like a little bit like polished wood. There is something really familiar about the note in here, like the main note that I'm getting, but I can't say what it is. But yeah, a little bit like polished wood, but it's not full on woody. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit brighter. It smells yellow somehow. I don't pick up a vanilla or a sugary or a caramelly or anything like that. The sweetness is coming from this thing which is a bit like polished wood, but also a little bit like this lotion that I used on my face as a child. It's like somewhere in between. It's really, really unusual. So far, all four fragrances are, in my opinion, really, really good quality. The one that I would consider buying is Plaka. I do have more to test from the brand, but I think we're going to do that in a separate video because this has gone on far too long. So I really do appreciate you watching and all of that stuff. Do give me a like, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can do so. There is a link to how you can buy me a coffee in the description. I bought these samples with my own money, not sponsored, blah, blah, blah. And I will link the brand, Fleur de Piel, in the description in case you are interested in checking them out. That is it then. I'll see you later.